We're good. Welcome to OLC 4.0, Term 1B. This is Class 14. We are continuing to work on our Assignment 19, which is the brochure project. It is Wednesday, December 6th, 2023, and I am Jillian Percy. Student work. Whenever you hand stuff in, please try and hand it into student work, student.work@nnec.on.ca. That way the secretary can log in that you submitted the work. If you submit it directly to me, I still have to send it through student work because we have to record that it has been submitted. Please include your full name, course name, the assignment name and number. If an assignment asks for both a rough and good copy, please label which is which and include them both in the same email. A lot of people just hand in the good draft, but I need to mark the rough draft too. And sometimes they're marked differently. So please make sure to hand in both. If you have to take a photograph of an assignment, please send it as an attachment to an email that you send to student work. If you just put it directly as the email, it's hard for us to print off. It doesn't quite show properly on the computer for some reason. If you have a question about an assignment, contact me at jillian.percy@nnecschools.org. If you have a question about the brochure we're talking about today, you can call the studio, 1-800-465-7144. If you want to talk about something after I'm finished the studio work, I am in the office from 4 to 6, and you can call 1-800-667-3703, and my extension is 2211. Okay, so today we're at the beginning of Unit 2, and it only has 11 assignments in it compared to Unit 1, which had like 18 assignments. The first one is kind of a big project, and I always worry that it's going to put people off. I actually think this assignment is one of the hardest ones in the course. The next ones, these ones are nice, I think, simple ones. But 9 is a simple one. Lesson 10 has some longer assignments, but I think they're really interesting about advertising. So I just don't want you to get intimidated by this brochure project. It's a big one, but not all the assignments are like this. A lot of the assignments in lesson 7 could be completed in like 20 minutes. And I'm so sorry. I thought I had cleared all my history, which is supposed to be the solution to this, right before I came in and everything, but it didn't quite work. Okay, where are we at here? Okay, so today's work, we have a lot of stuff to cover. So that's going to be our main focus is the brochure. We're going to look at the format of our brochure, understand and apply the elements of color, line, shape, and space to our design. Now, I know some of you out there might be thinking, what do those have to do with English? Well, part of English literature has become media design, and media design can include things like Facebook pages, brochures, posters, all that kind of thing. That has come under the umbrella in curriculum as part of an English literature because it does involve literacy elements, although it also obviously involves art elements. So it's part of the course today. Understand different types of font and understand our options in terms of the software available to help us create a nice brochure. I'll show you 2 different options today, and you can kind of make your choice as to what you want to do. You can also do it by hand. It's just, I think it's a lot more work. But if you're somewhere where you don't have access to the software, you're welcome to do it that way. So just a quick reminder in case you haven't tuned in before, this brochure is worth 30 marks, okay? So far, we have read up to chapter 3. Do not go on, okay? Later on in this, there's a few assignments, and then we have to do some predictions, so don't do it yet. There are issues about staying in school, teenage parenthood, and dangers of drugs and alcohol are all addressed in our book. Our task is to design and create a brochure which would help a reader who is face-to-face with one of the issues above or another issue in the book. You'll want to include agencies and business that might be able to help, important information about the issue, crisis phone numbers, and any other resource that is available in your community or nearby. Please refer to the rubric on page 8 to help guide. This is just a kind of a quick review. I don't think any of this is super new. Sorry, guys, my voice is going there. Hang on a second. Different formats work best for brochures with a lot of text or a lot of pictures. You're going to need to find the format that works best for your information. I'm going to kind of flip over right now and show you some examples. Oh, not quite that big. Hang on a sec. Okay, here's one on a fundraiser for children. These kind of brochures are traditionally folded in 3. So this would be the front, this would be the back, that'd be kind of a middle page. And this is what you would see when you open up inside. Let me show you some other ones. Oh, let's see if it'll show me this. Okay. If it's got this is the, oh, sorry guys. This is a program called Canva. It is free. But when you see those little crowns, the crowns mean that it is not free. That part is paid for. Hang on, let's try this one. Okay, let's see. Oh, there we go. So here, so just make it slightly smaller. This is from Keithstone and Partners, and it's talking about the importance of environmental sustainability. This would be your cover. Here's your back. This is kind of page 5, talking about saving your planet. And here's information on the issue. And I'm kind of showing you these so you have an idea of what we're looking for. Because I don't know, not everybody looks at brochures. I don't know if you've seen a whole bunch of them or not. So I'll just kind of show you some examples before we go any further here. This is very different. Let's see. Okay, again, you can see here is our cover. Here's our back page. There's page 5. And on the inside, you'd have page 2, 3, and 4. So there's a lot of text elements. There's also a lot of graphic elements. We're going to talk about some of these today. And you can see you can do them any kind of color. You can really do any kind of topic. Let me see about this. Oh, this is kind of nice. Here we go. This one is talking about camp. This one, they've changed the where the front cover goes. This one, usually you do kind of like a book fold. This one might be more of an accordion fold. Oh, and you can see this one is set up for us to put information in there. Okay. So we're going to come back to this in a minute. I want to kind of go on and show you some things. This is such a great site. I really encourage you to explore this site because you'd be surprised what things you can discover here. Like I said, it's not it is a paid for site, but there are all sorts of things you can do for free, and you can definitely do this assignment for free on here if you want to. It's not the only way to do it, but it is a good way to do it. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so this is a quick overview of the brochure project. First of all, you're going to choose a topic to do some research. We talked about the research part yesterday. Think about your audience and the point of view. Write your text in small, concise chunks or paragraphs. Use headings or subheadings to set off those paragraphs. Include contact information. Choose a color scheme. Create a layout. Include pictures, photos, or charts. Make your topography interesting. Be sure to proofread your work and make sure your name is included in the brochure. Okay. The front cover of your brochure The name and the logo of your business and service should be prominently displayed. The front cover should include some type of photo that helps people envision what you're selling. My note, so if you were trying to sell getting sober to somebody, think about what being sober might look like in a photo. Is a person surrounded by family? Are they outside doing something healthy? Are they smiling? How are they dressed? Or maybe you would show a photo of the staff or the facility they're going to. How could you make it look inviting or welcoming or safe? You can find all sorts of photos online. It's not, you don't have to like take the photo yourself. Okay, how to make a brochure using Google Slides. So Google Slides, this is what I'm using right now, is Google Slides. And for this, all I did was go up here and hit insert, and I hit a table. And I just hit 3 lines, and then I kind of pulled it out to the top, pulled it out to the bottom here. And now I've got my 3 sections. Okay. These little parts inside, all I did was either create a text box where you kind of click on it and create a box like that. Like, I'll do a little one for you. You can see that's one way you can do it. Or the other way you can do it, and I think this is probably what I did, was take a shape like that. You could do something else. Because if I'm designing this, I kind of want to know where my borders are. Sorry, I will fix that in a second. But you can see, because when you fold these things, they're not going to fold perfectly. You'd want to leave a little bit of space between any words you're writing and the edge where it might get folded. Okay. I'm going to kind of take that away. Now, like we were talking about when we were showing you on Canva, this part is normally the front cover. It's not a deal breaker if you want to do it the way the one summer camp did, but typically this is the front cover. Here's your back cover, and there's your page 5. And then you have page 2, page 3, page 4. Now, when you hand it in, this is probably going to be 2 separate pages the way you hand it in to me. In real life, you would print those back to back, and you would just fold them. And then those would go into some sort of business literature stand that you have that would explain that business or that service that you're offering, okay? So, okay. I've included a short video walkthrough of how to use Canva on the YouTube channel. Canva has a free version and a paid version. You don't need to bother with the paid version because the free version is more than adequate to do this assignment. The nice thing about Canva is that you can use their layout, but still feel free to change colors, change font sizes, substitute different photos or graphics, but they have given you some possible layouts to start with their own colors. And if you're not feeling particularly artsy, like not everybody is, that can be a real help to completing this assignment. So the URL is this. This I think will bring me to, does it? Yeah, it does. We've taken a look there. Like, I'm just going to kind of show you what I mean. Let's say I don't like my tents orange. Let's say I wanted them to be blue. Let's see if oh, okay. Hang on, let me try this one. Okay. So now my tent is blue, or I could make it green, or what other crazy color here, red. Now, if I don't like any of the colors that they're offering, I would go over here into my little rainbow section and I would pull things up. I could have red, I could pull it over to orange or green. And you can see as I'm doing this, the graphic is changing colors, right? Same thing can happen for the words. If I don't like what color the words are, I'd go up here to the big A and I could pick a new color like green. See how did that work? Yep. Okay. I also could change the font style, like how the letters look, by picking a different type. They usually kind of show you like, okay. So here, I don't like that, but I'm just showing you. Now that can happen. Like right now, it's kind of come undone because it's a specialty one. If I go smaller, there you go. I can keep on playing around until I have one that I like. Again, if you can see the crowns means the paid for, but you can also see there's tons and tons of fonts that are free. You don't need to get into the paid ones at all, and still you'd have plenty of beautiful stuff. And I can also obviously change the words. So I don't want to say camp activities. Maybe I want to say, maybe it's a craft camp, camp crafts. So I can change the words. So again, you do not in any way have to use this, but it is just one option. You could also, let's say, hang on, let me try a slightly different one. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. All right, let's say I didn't like this photo of the girl. I could delete that photo and I could add a different photo. Go over to elements and I could look up photos of women, and it would show me. Now, some of these are going to be paid. If I had something on my computer, I could also use that. Oh gosh, these ones are all paid. I'm going to go for graphics. Usually there's some free graphics. Let me see here. Okay. Oh, this looks nice. So I could put this down here. I could shrink it down. Again, I could change the colors of their outfits. See how their outfits are different, like green and orange and yellow? Up here, I could pick one. So if I wanted to change the green, I would just click on the green, come over here, and maybe why she got green hair? That's so funny. Okay, maybe I'll give her some, that's a little bit light, but anyways, brown hair. I have dark brown, or, oh, that kind of works. So I can play around with so many different elements. So that's just a really nice way to do it as well. The third way, you can also do it with Google Docs. Now, I have not used Google Docs because it's really intended for writing. You have both Google Docs and Google Slides because you're a student with us. Everybody gets an automatic Google account. So if you go over to your regular Google, and over here you would have a little icon, and then you have these little dots. The dots pull up the apps. So if I go to Docs, I could just hit a blank document. I don't want it this way. I want it to be oriented different. So I would hit, oh, wait, how would I do this? So every computer has a little bit different page setup. And I would change to landscape. And then I would do the same thing I did with Google Docs. I mean, with Google Slides, I would create a table, make it 3 sections, and start designing. Okay, so it doesn't really change. I just don't like doing it in Google Docs. I'm really familiar with Google Slides, and I prefer using Google Slides. The middle of the brochure. The inside pages are page 2, 3, and 4. They might include blocks of text on warning signs or recovery steps, public resources available, programs or services offered, encouragement or helpful advice, testimonials from people they've helped, or statistics on recovery or success. Now, some people, like I said, are not super fond of using the computer. If you're kind of artsy, you're welcome to hand me in one that you've done by hand. That's fine. But it does need to be done nicely. There does need to be some color. You do need to have like headlines and the maps or the visual elements or whatever. You can't just like scribble something on a page and hand that into me. I won't take that, okay? There are all sorts of lovely little videos on YouTube that can walk you through how to do it. You will not lose any kind of marks for doing it by hand. That is fine, as long as it is neat and your handwriting must be readable. If I can't read it, I'm not able to mark it. It also needs to show that you've thought about color scheme, layout, and other visual elements such as pictures, graphics, tables, or charts. Okay. Also, somewhere in the brochure, you're going to want to have like a call to action, something you want the reader to do. In most cases, brochures are being put out by somebody who is trying to influence behavior in some way, get you to buy something, get you to do something. Page 5 might be a good place for this. So things like, for more information, talk to enroll in our program, call us at, to get counseling, make an appointment at, want help, you can get it at, had enough, we can help end. And you would finish off those words with whatever makes sense to you. The back cover often includes contact information. Now, this is really crucial, right? You want the person to apply to your program. They need to be able to reach you. It should include a phone number, an email, possibly a website, and maybe the name of a contact person. When, for example, when you call, ask for Judy and she will help you apply for this program. For the purposes of this assignment, some of this information might need to be made up or invented. Like maybe you invent a business, invent an URL for a website. It doesn't have to be real, right? It's just the idea of it. You might include a logo, or maybe a corporate photo of the business, or maybe a map on how to get there. Okay, here is the rubric for the brochure. So this is how I mark it, okay? When you're doing your brochure, when you're getting kind of close to the end, look at this and make sure you've included all of these elements, okay? Some of the elements are related to writing, other are related to like the graphics and the visuals and the layout. So first, purpose. You want to think about, does the brochure communicate relevant information to an appropriate intended audience? Is the brochure organized in a logical way? Again, subheadings are a big key to helping with that. And then skipping down to language, is the language appropriate? If you're writing as if you were a doctor on the topic of addictions, you're going to need to use your most professional, most formal language, right? On the other hand, if you were writing it for youth, you might still have some formality, but maybe you might use simpler words to get across the ideas more simply to teenagers. On the next page here in the middle, we have visual elements. So I am looking for this. It has to have a visual element like a chart, a diagram, a graphic, illustration, or pictures. If it has none, then you can't get marks for that area, okay? You have to include some of those. And it has to make sense according to what you're working with. If you're, creating a pamphlet on teenage parenthood, it would be weird to have a bunch of really old people in there unless it was like, say, an elder talking to a teenager in a encouraging fashion, right? Your pictures and your graphics need to match the message. We're also looking for design elements that you've used color, space, line. They've used the word form here, but form is not the right word. Form is for sculpture. They mean the word shape. And you're looking for the idea that you've used design elements to help highlight important information. And that can be done with all sorts of things, color, shape, headings. We're going to show you some ideas as I go along here. Yep. Principles of art need to be applied, such as unity and balance. You don't want to treat each section of the brochure as if a separate type of art or a separate page from everything else. You want it to have a sense of unity across the whole. So the same colors, the same fonts. There might be some repetition of shapes or lines that help to highlight information and create that sense of unity. You also want it to look balanced. So it will look a little bit odd if every part of your brochure has the exact same layout, like every single page has text on top, picture underneath. And one picture should not have so much information or be so exciting visually that the other pages don't get read at all. So you want to think about balancing your information out with the pictures. Okay, let's look at some of the elements. Layouts. You can put a graphic across 2 or 3 panels if you want. Like it could go there. I could have just put it across 2. If I wanted the front or this part to be blank because I want to put some information there, that'd be fine, right? I could put a heading that goes all the way across if I want to. I could put elements that go across one of the panels, right? So that when you unfold it, you see both sides. These can kind of have the effect of making the brochure seem more unified. Shapes can be a great way to set off a headline or a graphic. All of these shapes, these 3 I got right from up here in Google Slides. I went to shapes. I can go, there's hearts, there's electrical things, there's suns, there's arrows down here, there's call out speeches. This I picked up from the internet. I went over here, I asked for an image, I told it to search the web, and then I told it what to look for. So if I looked for, say, a tree, I could insert a tree. Okay, they've made that huge. Obviously, I would want to make that more appropriate. You just be aware of copyright issues, but for an educational assignment, most times I don't think it's a huge issue. Lines. You can use different types of lines to draw the eye to information. Here, they've used like a triangle to point to information. Here, they've used a cross to kind of show all the people involved and how they're connected. Here, we've used an exciting kind of lightning type line to show that they want you to act now. I might want to like change this and put it along. Oops, come on, can I do that? Yeah, there we go. So that it is in line with the lightning. I think I can probably put it right on top of the lightning too. Hang on a second. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. Right. So I could actually put it right on the line if I wanted to. I'd have to play with that to get the angle right. But that's some examples of things you can do very, very easily just with inserting your shapes. You can also create a list of bullet points or number steps. It becomes the text itself kind of becomes a visual element that way. So like look for these signs of addiction or take these action steps to get help or whatever. Okay, looking at color. Colors can convey a different feeling or a different atmosphere. This is just an example of, not everybody would agree with all of these, by the way. This isn't like a set in stone, where they think yellow shows like optimism, clarity, warmth. Orange seems friendly, cheerful, confident. Red is exciting, youthful, bold. Purple is creative, imaginative, wise. Blue, trustworthy, dependable, strength. Green, peaceful, growth, health. Gray, balanced or neutral or calm. Here they're kind of showing you, it's kind of cool, some different logos of different businesses and what colors they've gone for to show things. Kind of interesting. Let me think here. Color schemes. Color is a huge part of design, and there are some traditional ways that designers and artists often pick color schemes to ensure that things will go well together. Okay, so this is a color wheel, and artists use the color wheel to pick colors. One would be monochromatic, different lights and darks, all of the same color. This ensures that it all goes together. Nothing's going to clash if it's all the same color. It can look a bit boring or monotonous if the artist isn't careful. But you can see, like, you'll see a lot of health ones that might be done in blues or might be done in greens. Analogous. Analogous is when the colors sit right next to each other on the color wheel. So like red, orange, yellow, blue, aqua, green. They can be rich, vibrant colors, like really bright. It could be darker colors. It could be lighter colors. It could be a mix of both. That's fine. Oh, a really great site to play around with some different color combinations is called Adobe Color. And again, pretty sure this one is a free one. Yep. Hang on a second. Okay. I do use this all the time. I really like it. You can go up here. You could tell it you want analogous colors. You could tell it you want monochromatic, see what it comes up with. This is kind of your target. So if I move this one that has the little tiny arrow on it, it'll pick different colors based on that. Triad, split complementary. And then you could play. Like if I don't like this, I could move it a little bit over or move it a little bit closer. You could also go down here and play around. This is just to give you ideas. You can also get ideas here if you look at Explore. Let's say I wanted to talk about health and see what comes up as health colors. Okay, there you go. So you got some greens to go with like a doctory theme. Here's kind of a health one too. So this is just a site you can use. You do not have to use it in any way. It's just as a way to get some ideas going if you want to use it, okay? Um, some other type of color schemes are complementary. That's when they're right across from each other. So like red and green, pink, I can't think of what pink was, orange and blue. This one's set up just slightly funny. Split complementary. These can be more subtle combinations. Instead of straight across from the color you're working with, you go slightly to the left and slightly to the right. So it's still a high contrast, but not quite as high. And again, you can do it in darks, in lights, or a mixture of some dark, some light. You can get very different effects, you can see. The other one is triadic color schemes. Those are really common. If you think of like red, yellow, blue, green, orange, purple, those are really common color combinations. And here you can see they can still look really nice. They aren't quite as high contrast as complementary colors, but you can, again, play around with that kind of stuff. Font matters. Font is what we call the type that you're using, the typography. You can see these two fonts. It's the same phrase, I will always find you, but the little cute one that has tiny little hearts sounds sweet, like your girlfriend is saying, oh, I will always find you. And then you've got this kind of creepy, sketchy one that looks like somebody carved it into your wall with a knife with their own blood or something. This looks like a stalker is, I will always find you. So yeah, one is kind of cute and sweet and makes you feel maybe loved, and the other one makes you feel a little bit creeped out, maybe threatened, but the words are the same. It's just how they've written them changes how you feel. So that's the thing to think about as you're doing your design is what kind of font do you want to use? Different types of fonts can look casual, formal, businesslike, silly, or even creepy. And graphic artists choose what font they're going to use with a lot of care. Okay. Keep in mind, you can also, when you're doing typography, especially if you're using something like Canva where they've already got the font on the page, you can change the color, the size, or the style. There are several main different types of font, and they each have their uses, and everybody's got their favorites. These are ones that are imitating handwriting. They might be great to use if you were trying to include a quote from a doctor or a testimonial from a client. Oh, this doctor was so helpful. This changed my life. The staff are so easy to talk to. Now I have hope. I'm so glad I joined this program. I had nowhere to turn. So that's one example. Let me just go on to the next here. These are ones, this is typography that have what they call serifs. Serifs are these tiny little strokes or lines at the beginning or end of a letter or a stroke within a letter. And in older days, when they used fountain pens, if you've ever seen one, they don't have a round tip. They have kind of like a rectangle tip. So those kind of lines were very common due to the kind of writing they did. They do like a stroke down and then do like a little tiny itty bitty stroke off that kind of helped the ink to not just get everywhere, basically. Here are some examples of fonts that have serifs. These kind of typography, you often see these in books. Some graphic artists would consider them old-fashioned or conservative. Some people feel they really convey reliability, though. So that's one thing to think about. These are called sans serif, which is kind of a French phrase, which just means they don't have those little extra lines. A lot of people feel these look cleaner and more modern. These are more common on computer screens because they look a little cleaner, especially if you're, say, looking at a little tiny phone where the type is really small. These ones can be more clear, and you can see, even though they don't have serifs, they all look a little bit different, right? Some are more squarish, some are more rounded. They all have little tiny differences that still make them interesting. You can pick what you like. The most common ones, the one that you're going to see on all sorts of screens is Calibre, Verdana. What's the other one? Oh, I can't think of it right now. Let me think here. If I pick something up. Oh, okay. So that's company. Oh, you know what? Hang on. What is Arial? Yeah, Arial's really common. Okay, so these ones are the ones that often kind of read as neutral, right? They're easy, they're clean, they're used really widely because people find them really easy to read. This is a type of typography called display typography, and it's great for headings or subheadings or like a logo. It would be hard to read a lot of text with this type because it's so busy, but it's something to think about if you wanted to use it for like the business name or to like catch someone's eye or to put at the top of a paragraph of text. And you can see you've got kind of funky, this one's called like Moonstone or something. You've got this one that makes me think of records all the time. This one almost looks like the letters are moving because of all the little letters. This one's kind of an old-fashioned gothic-y one. This one's sort of creepy like a horror show. This one's a stencil type. Again, you would have to pick and play with it to see what you think about it, how it looks, and how it feels to you. Okay, visual elements. It's possible that you might find some relevant charts or graphs on the internet that pertain to your topic. It is totally fine to include them. Just list the URL where you found the information from. I'm going to show you that in a second. You can also make your own diagrams or pictures if you want to, or include your own photos. Google Slides also has the ability to help you create diagrams, charts, or tables if you want. Now, I want to just kind of show you this part first. I'm going to grab a clean paper. Hang on. A new slide. Sorry, I don't know why it always does that. I kind of hate that part. Let's say I wanted to find, let me see here, statistics on alcohol recovery. Are there any, no, not now, thank you, images. Okay, so let's say I wanted to grab some of these, or, you don't want to use all of them, obviously, but I wanted to grab one image. It's this one. Ooh, okay, that's kind of horrible. That's not what I was hoping for. Huh, okay. Okay, how about this? So I could go here, I could snap a little shot of it and then include it in my brochure. But see up here, the URL, I would want to kind of grab that, copy it, and then include it on my page. You'll want to put a little tiny text box to hold it. And I would usually make sure the text box is pretty small so it doesn't take up too much room. Okay. This is just a way of being honest and showing that it came from something else and you didn't invent it. So I might say something like, graphic is taken from, apology, from here. And again, I would make this kind of small. I don't want it very big. It doesn't need to attract a lot of attention, but I do want it there. And then, do I have my snip? Hang on a second. Okay. Oh, it's kind of over top of it here. And save it. And then maybe it becomes part of my document. Obviously, I'd make it shrink it down. Now, you don't want to use a whole lot of these, but you do have to use a visual, and that's one possible thing. Just make sure you tell me where you got it from, okay? Now, you may also want to just kind of create your own diagrams. If you go up here to insert, right, and hit the drop-down menu, you can see it'll bring up diagram, okay? And if you do that, a whole bunch of other types of diagrams show up, okay? Grid, hierarchy, timeline, process, relationship. You have your choice of using whatever formats. I would take a few minutes to kind of experiment with them and see how they work. I can't really show all of them to you because there's so many, but I will give you a few examples. So here, this is an example from the cycle tab. And when they gave it to me, it was all one color. I've played around and changed the colors and changed the types of fonts, change the colors of the fonts. I do find these are a bit, so here, let's see if I was going to change the font. Hang on. I kind of select it, and then maybe I pick something like that. I could make it bigger. I could change to a different color. I don't know if that's going to change. Let me see if that'll change something or not. Okay, so that changed that section. So you can play around with some of these if you wanted to, okay? Here's a nice little pyramid. I kind of like the look of this graphic. It made me think of different building blocks for like health or maybe foundations of parenting. And they have what you call like a kind of holding text. So I could go in here and erase that and put my own word in here. So connections to your child. And if I didn't need it, I could just erase it. I can change the color of this, I'm pretty sure. Yep, here we go. So I could make it red or something else to match the color of whatever I've done. You don't want to spend forever on this part, but it really can be kind of an easy and fun way to jazz up your brochures. It makes them look very professional. So again, this is, I forget where I got it from. It's still from this diagram tab, and it all came in one color. I've played around with the colors. I've played around with the content. Again, you can see I can change this to all sorts of different things, right? So this is just a fun thing. I tried charts. I had trouble with this because it wants to link to Excel, which I don't have. There's tables here. Obviously, you're not going to include video, but you can include shapes. Oh, wow. Okay. I'm going to go back and show us some stuff then. This is a really large project. It is totally okay to break this project into smaller chunks. Sometimes setting a timer for 30 minutes can be a workable amount of time to start a tricky task. And then give yourself a small break, like a quick walk or a cup of coffee, and then tackle another 30 minutes, okay? I am really looking forward to seeing these projects, and I really hope you have fun doing them. I'm going to go back up to Canva. Okay, because I wanted to walk you through how to get there. So I have an account, but I don't need one. If I go up here to create a design, it pulls up brochure, and I would just select 11 by 8.5. That's all I really need. And it gives me the blank page. Okay. I just want brochures. Now you see I've got some choices here. Travel brochures, company brochures. I don't know if it'll come up with, if I said like a health brochure, I'm not sure if it'll come up or not. Let me see. It's worth a try anyways. Okay, yeah. Now again, the ones with the crowns I can't use unless I have a paid for thing. But you can see a whole bunch of things popped up. Apply both pages. Now, remember we talked about monochromatic? Here's a great example. This is a nice dark blue, and all they've really done is blue and white with this. They've used a few hexagon shapes around some photographs. I could easily change those photographs, or I could keep them. Maybe I would probably wouldn't want the surgery one, but maybe this is the guy welcoming somebody to an addictions program. What do I know? So you could play around with these kind of things. Let me go back and see what else we've got. Do I have? Ooh, this is a nice example. Let me see here. See how they've got the shape across several pages to try and create a bit of unity. And again, they've gone with a very simple color scheme. This is mostly monochromatic. There's a little bit of hint of blue in her stethoscope and in his shirt and down here, but it's mostly green and white and a bit of cream. Okay. Now, if I hated these for some reason, I could just put them in the garbage and take them out. If I didn't like that and change my mind, I hit the undo button and I put it back in. If I didn't like her, I could take her out. I think. Hang on. Where would I put her? Well, I could pull her off the page, I'm pretty sure. Oh, yeah, I could pull her right off. Not sure if it'll let me do that. Can I insert? Okay, let me see here. Doctor. I don't know if it's going to come up or not. Okay. Yeah, these are all paid for ones. Let me see, graphics. Oh, here's one. Of course, they have no faces, but that's okay. Anyways, but this is just an example of all the different kind of fun, cool things you can do with this. And if I didn't like the green, that's fine. Again, click on that. The color will come up, and maybe maybe I do like the green, or maybe I want that part to be blue. Maybe I want it to be slightly. So now I've got some green and some blue. Maybe this one needs to be blue as well. And see how easy it is to just kind of change it around and give it a different look. Now, you still have to write your own words, right? You can't just take their words. Keep in mind, I'm aware that I'm showing you this site. So if I have a brochure that looks a little bit funny, I'm going to kind of check, right? Anything else? Gee, I feel like that's kind of it, but I've got a few minutes left here. Oh, I so wish that anybody else was on here to ask any questions. Okay, you know what? We'll go back to that hand site just in case anybody's, where is that? Here it is. Okay, just in case anyone wants.
This is Dave, head of marketing at a catcher
Sorry,
company
hang
about
on
to
a
use
second.
Grammarly to handle a tight deadline.
Okay. And here, the noise is terrible, sorry. So here she's showing very lovingly her stuff. Now, obviously, you don't need to make little paper flowers, but see how she did the border thing like I did as well? She just did it with paper instead. And that's fine. I'm going to kind of flip through here. She's giving you the measurements. She's showing you how to fold it. This is a nice little site if you want to kind of get some ideas for how to do stuff. I'll tell you the measurements. She's doing it on black paper, which is very funny to me. But you can also see down the side. I'll just kind of show you. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to stay there for a second. That's the trifold thing I'm talking about. So there's your cover. And then when you open it up inside, there's page 2, 3, and 4. And that's your 5 that's getting folded over. Okay. So there are some other examples here that you could look at. Now, we've done a trifold. Some of them are showing you a double fold or a quadruple fold, but it still would give you some ideas. Here's another one, I think, for different ways, different things you can do to add color and elements, okay? So please do keep in mind, ooh, they're super fancy. I'm not asking anybody to paint. Okay. So if you're wanting to do it as that kind of a project instead, you can also get ideas for layouts online. Hang on a second. Sorry, layouts for brochures. If you go to images, here are some more examples. And I thought there was a whole little layout one that I saw come up at one point. I'm not quite seeing it now, but these are the kind of things where you could follow up, flip around, get some ideas. Now, again, don't just take something off the internet. If I see that that's happened, I will be giving you a phone call and you'll have to do it over and all that kind of stuff. So you don't want to do that. But this is some great way to get a look around and get some ideas for different kind of layouts for these. Look at this kind of beautiful kind of mountain layout going on. This one they've been working with circles. Here there's some triangle work. And again, those kind of fun color and shape things doesn't really take that long to do. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, so this is kind of showing you the measurements. I'm just going to leave that up there as we close. That's a great way to show you how it would look. So again, you want to make sure your information doesn't go across, but graphic elements, right? Like the circles, the photos, they can cross over the lines just fine. But you can see most of these, they've tried to keep the words, sorry, hang on, inside the lines. And here, sometimes they've used little color blocks behind the words in order to make the words stand out, right? That's not that hard to do. So if I was doing, over here, I'm in Google Docs, I could insert, do I have this shape here or not? Image. Yes, this is why I like Google Slides just slightly better. I find it a little easier to use. Okay, I am gonna, oh, okay, no, that's good. I'm gonna leave this now because I think we've really covered everything. If you get stuck or confused, feel free to call me. I'd be happy to talk to you. If you want to show me what you've got so far and ask for my opinion, I'd be happy to give you my opinion on what you've got. Let's see, yeah, there's some more stuff tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be looking at assignment 20 and probably 21, maybe 22. So take your time. Don't worry if you don't get to the next assignments. This one takes a few days for sure. Okay. Thank you so much for showing up, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.